December 12th, PRI Day 1. We are here in Lucas Oil Stadium, home of the Indianapolis Colts, but more importantly, home of Mr. Dan Mayer, recently announced within the last minutes, the official voice of Full Pull Live. Hopefully this is the last time in the history of Full Pull Live that I have to lead an interview without Dan Mayer starting. But Dan, congratulations. We wanted to give you the proper introduction, well-deserved introduction to this new role you have with the Full Pull team, and particularly as the voice of Full Pull Live. So what better way to kick off an exciting trade show week than an interview with the interviewee himself, Dan Mayer. So Dan, congratulations, my friend. And his official title is The Voice. We decided that a couple days ago, but congrats, my friend. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Chase. Appreciate the opportunity here to represent Full Pull Live, and going to be some great things coming up here. I mean, very exciting things we've got planned here for this coming year, and starting right here this weekend here at PRI. And the folks are coming out early here, and it's going to be a great show.
Dan, I know a lot of people probably know your voice. Others may not know you at all. You've been announcing, been a keynote announcer of some of the biggest pulling events in the world, namely the National Farm Machinery Show, National Tractor Pulling Championships. But give us some background of how long you been into this, how'd you get started, and I believe there's a little bit of motorsports history, but how did Dan Mayer, the announcer, come about from the start?
So the announcer part of it came when I used to run dirt cars years ago, back when I lived in New York. Moved to southern Indiana just a couple years ago, but it was about 2005, 2006 is when I actually started announcing. I worked for the local Empire State Pullers PPL affiliate group there in Western New York.
Member state, right?
Member state, yep. And New York's got two groups. They got an Eastern group and a Western group because the state's so big, so they kind of split it up. So I got started with the Western group there and did that for a few years and kind of got my feet wet, figured out what was going on. And because I come from dirt racing, and then my youngest boy was 2 years old, and all the work involved with racing, I decided to step back and not do anything for a year. And my wife's like, you got to do something. You're driving me nuts. Yeah, she's like, you got to do something. But I've always been involved with pulling, followed it for so many years. I mean, we've gone, the farm show and Bowling Green and the local events we had. So I was always, subscribed to the Puller magazine. So I've always followed it, and but I've also, with the dirt racing too. And then when the opportunity came, 2006, there, like, you know what, I'm going to try this out and see, I think I can do this. And it just kind of blossomed from there. And, being affiliated with the PPL group there, I was asked to do some bigger events with PPL, and then kind of just went from there. Then other groups started asking me, and before you know it, the farm show asked if I could help them out, and then it, just kind of went from there.
So 2006, so a little less than 20 years ago, this journey started, and it's, when you see people in any industry, you see passion. I don't think it takes very long to see your passion for truck and tractor pulling. Also, for those of you who don't know, this guy's also the quote-unquote official historian for the sport of pulling. What I mean by that, he's created his own brand, the Pulling Reference brand that he started and done, probably more out of passion and love as much as anything, but it's pretty relevant information now. And essentially Pulling Reference just is the historical reference for all tractor pulling knowledge and data. Tell us how the Pulling Reference endeavor began and still presently active to this day. I know you'll probably see some type of marriage. Probably it's a good way to say marriage, where we're Pulling Reference is still Pulling Reference, but some of that is intertwined with the Full Pull brand and so forth. But talk about Pulling Reference.
Yeah, I've just always been kind of a stat guy, and it was one of those things where you look back and you could find anything you want for NASCAR racing. There's quite a bit out there for drag racing as well, but for pulling, if I would go back and try to tell you who did this or who did that, there was nothing. So I kind of compiled everything together, all the different groups and organizations through the years, and just kind of put everything more or less easily accessible to get to. And it's helped out quite a bit with a lot of different groups, and everybody where who their previous champions were, and
sure,
different things like that. So it just kind of grew from there, and just kind of more or less, like you say, just a labor of love kind of thing.
I would say labor is an understatement. You did this and literally just went through old print documents, right? I mean, this dates back before the internet and the way we view data now is viewed, right?
Yeah, that's I had when I was in college, had a pretty serious accident with my hand, and I wasn't able to work for about a year and a half, and just about after a week or so, it was like, I need something to do. So I started, I found there was like a drag list, it was called, on the, there was like a drag list paper, I think it was, and the guy had listed, just different things, and I'm like, boy, why couldn't I do something like that for pulling? So I just kind of worked on that, and it just kind of grew from there. And like you say, grabbing, magazines and programs and stuff like that I've had over the years, I just kind of started compiling everything, and then once the internet age started, then, pullers would say, oh, hey, I've got this, or I've got this, and it, kind of helped out with a bunch of different things, and, oh, I remember this, or I don't remember that, and so that it's been a real fun deal.
This is not only statistical data and numbers. This is photos, video footage, stockpiles and stockpiles of pulling heritage, as I would call it. That's probably a good word for it, that you've literally just done in your basement. I don't mean that in a bad way, but you have, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things where, like, I had like Photo Joe Egley a few years ago. He's a guy that covered the farm show since the early 80s, and all kinds of events all over the place. And one day he just gave me a call and said, Dan, I've got all these videos and all these pictures. Would you be interested? And it took me this long to think about it, but I had to convince the wife, and so because it's a lot of stuff, and
Sure.
but still going through stuff like that. But it's always, and I'm always constantly changing things over. A lot of people have VHS tapes and different things. They, hey, I'd like this converted,
Sure.
and different kind of stuff like that. So it's just kind of grown from there, and it's it's quite a lot, actually.
Yeah. So I'll just put it out there. These conversations with Dan have been happening since the start of Full Pull Live as an endeavor, a part of Full Pull Entertainment. But the way things lined up, and Dan is a very popular person. I mean, you're a cool guy too, but you're a popular guy for announcing. Didn't have Dan work with us as much as we wanted to, and obviously, rightfully so. Dan wanted to probably see what this was about and how we performed, and I think worked a couple events with us this past summer, and then once the NTPA Grand National season ended, the Full Pull Live took on a number of new events in the falls, we'll call them, that have never been streamed before. But Dan, what's your takeaway from all of this in a nutshell, from the content, from the streaming, from the gaming, for all this, is to really expand the handprint and the view of truck and tractor pulling. But from a live streaming standpoint, what's excites you? What do you see? And obviously this was a huge year for us, taking this on, and every week got better. But what do you think the opportunity is from your standpoint to really expand the sport via a streaming platform?
From what I see, is the sky's the limit. I mean, this is, there's so much opportunity out there to take this, who knows how high we can go with it. And that's the biggest thing, is there's so many different things we can do, and so many different, avenues we can go down. And I think that's the exciting part about it. It's, we've only gotten this far, and who knows where we can go.
It's all storytelling, right?
Right,
and
absolutely.
it's our job to tell a story, and what better storyteller than the official historian of tractor pulling himself, Dan. And just so everyone's aware, Dan will be, when you see Full Pull Live, you'll see Dan. He'll also be helping manage a lot of the content you see. And again, so I wouldn't put this pressure on, but a lot of one of the ringleaders in expanding this messaging and awareness around truck and tractor pulling. A lot of that happens it doesn't necessarily happen when the tractor pull starts on a Friday, Saturday. It happens year round, through the week, and so forth, as we've seen. And that part for Full Pull is really exciting, knowing what Dan brings just from a visionary standpoint. But Dan, outside the streaming part of it, we have some plans and some things that we really think we can elevate. Do you want to comment? Because it's kind of your job now. I don't want to throw you out there, because if it doesn't go well, it's your fault. But no, I'm kidding.
No, like I say, there's some, we got some great ideas moving forward here with, we talked about a weekly program, kind of cover all of pulling, kind of deal, and we would work on some interview stuff and some things that we're working on in between. Once the season starts and gets rolling, we've got other content that we're going to utilize and get working here. So it's
we're not going to put a date on it yet, but there will be a show. It'll be called This Week in Pulling with Dan Mayer. That will be launched year round. Don't have the date, don't know the time, don't know the day of the week, but it will be sometime well before the summer season starts. And really looking forward to doing that. There is the one thing we do know, there's an appetite for pulling. People love it, fans love it, and we're going to deliver that and continue to deliver that to everyone out there.
But like you talk about the PRI show, there's no bigger platform, than the motorsports industry than right here this weekend in Indianapolis. Anybody who's anybody in motorsports is here this weekend. So
the last thing I wanted to make sure everyone is aware of in regards to Dan, whenever there's a complaint about announcing on the live stream, we'll put his email out there and you can just contact him directly.
Just call or text or what?
No, this is going to be really exciting and good. Anything else to add, Dan? I know this is probably not your comfort zone, you being the guy getting interviewed, but we want to rightfully make this announcement and give you the pub because it's a big day, a big event for us. And like I said, wherever you see Full Pull Live, you will see Dan Mayer. But anything else you want to add? Or
just appreciate the opportunity, and like I say, the sky's the limit here, and just excited to get rolling and see where we can take this.
We're glad to have you, Dan. I think this is going to be a exciting future, and it's going to be really exciting whenever you can take this job and start interviewing everybody again. I'd like to do it. So we're here at 8137. A lot of tractor pulling presence here at the show. Stop by, doing some giveaways. RJ Simon's Tractor Pull giving away tickets to that, the $700,000 purse, and also a chance to win a $500 gift card. So we'll be here all the way through Saturday. Stop by, check us out, and get an autograph from the voice of Full Pull, Dan Mayer. So
come on by, check out all the things we got going on here. It's going to be a great weekend.
All right, Dan. Congrats again.
Thanks a lot, Chase.
Yep.